Last time on Desperate Attune, Mushfiq woke up one morning to find that Mushfiq, the Rising Moon's tea vendor, was missing. In his place, a stern-looking woman was serving swill at sky-high prices. Mushfiq wasn't interested in the dreadful drink, but in answers. Under the threat of violence, the woman confessed that Mushfiq had been driven into hiding after he'd failed to pay his dues to the flatbread uncles. Wasting no time, Mushfiq took off to rescue his favorite chaiwala, picking up Bidrohi on the way. After a while, they found a despondent Mufiz by the river, drinking cheap moonshine. Bidrohi made off to make some tea for the three of them, and also for Gunnar, a Skovlander who just happened to be passing by. Over tea, Mufiz said that he'd been late with his dues without trouble before, but now someone had been stirring shit up. Gunnar had heard of this, and elaborated that Jackal had paid off the Skovlander's debts to the flatbread uncles, and added a bit on top to get them to harass the Kethrisi. Meanwhile, Saeeda went to visit Salman with the paperwork registering the House of Lies. When she found him at the Ruby Jetty, Salman cryptically offered her a mango. Hesitant at first, Saeeda ate it, and to her surprise, unlike all fruit in the city, the mango didn't have the subtle odor of the city's refuse. The fruit and all the trees in Gilly Gully Gully had fallen silent, Salman said. It was a symptom of Saeeda causing an ontological shift in the city. They debated theology for a while, at the end of which Saeeda convinced Salman of the Prince of Ending's existence, and Salman left her with a warning. The next time she meddles with reality, he should hear of it directly. Once the crew got together, they charted a course of action to deal with Mufiz's problem. They learned that he was specifically indebted to a man named Cutlet. Cutlet was a butcher, and Jackal had paid him to supply meat for an upcoming Skovlander festival. With that in mind, the crew planned a three-pronged attack. They would hurt Cutlet's operations by hitting his shop while he was away, they'd hurt his reputation by messing with the festival food, and finally, they'd hurt Cutlet himself by beating him up.
Uduasha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flame, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here, the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Ending. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks, and that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama. And I'm back.
Hello.
Again. Hello. I like how the one note that Klow took down here is Anais' new drink auntie.
Yep.
Then,
Yep, that's the only thing that has happened this session that matters.
yes. Well, strictly speaking, kind of true, actually, because Morpheus being kicked out is what instigated all of this.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't expect to have such a violent reaction to the mango thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
Yeah.
that was really something.
Yes. Like I said, I'm just trying to match Saeeda's weird energy with Salman,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Literally.
absolutely. Yeah.
Saeeda is a person who randomly says prophecies, so I'm just having Salman be like a similar person where he just talks in cryptic riddles and
Yep.
knows weird
Yeah.
metaphysical things about the world. And,
Yeah.
and in
100%.
this and in this case, the thing he knew was
I
that the
return.
mangoes are silent.
I'm back.
Yes.
I'm back.
Welcome back, Klow.
I am
Aadiyat,
also
Everyone
back.
back?
I'm back. We're all back.
Okay, excellent. So, this situation starts desperate.
Hmm.
And so
Not
I think
super
where we will
surprising. I gotta
I
say.
think where we will begin is that Gunnar has managed to get you to the fringes of Jackal's party. I don't even think he's like invited to Jackal's party necessarily. And if this engagement role had gone better, maybe he had been and he could have brought you along. But what's happened here is that he has brought you to his family celebration, which just happens to be like next door to Jackal's. So there's like, again, it's a big immigrant community. Not everyone is celebrating in the same place, but he happens to be celebrating nearby, which also means that you might pull this poor innocent man into danger.
No.
We will see. And so, where this scene begins, he is like hanging out on the fringes of the celebration. And what Jackal has arranged is a big ass bonfire, because this is apparently part of the celebration. So there's like a big ass bonfire, and I think that there is something specific being burned, some sort of effigy, but it's not of a person. What is it of? I'll have Tree answer this one because you're the occultist. What effigy do the Skovlanders burn?
I think that the Skovlanders have a tradition of. Oh, we're in Udwasha, right? Yeah, I think that the Skovlanders ban like an effigy of what appears to be like a Leviathan hunter ship.
Oh yeah, very cool.
Probably,
They burn a big boat.
yeah, I think in the past maybe like it was a different kind of ship. Like I think they've always been burning like boats, but like recently, I think the boats been like they've been starting to look more and more like the big Leviathan hunter ships, and
Yeah.
that's not a coincidence, right?
Yeah, makes sense. So there is
It's
this
the anniversary of the first Battle of Lockport, where the factory workers of Lockport overthrew the Imperialists for a while and blew up all the ships in the harbor.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a big ship being burned. And this is what Jackal has arranged. And I mean, Gunnar and his family have a smaller celebration, so they have made like a little boat out of bark, and they built like a little fire, and his family and friends are burning it just because they're doing their celebration thing. And where the score obviously starts is when you like sneak away from his celebration and get into Jackal's, right? Because that's where you want to be. So I imagine your plan of entry. You can contradict me if you think this doesn't make sense, but I imagine your plan of entry is basically just kind of drifting from one party to another. Like we're at this party, and then oh, whoops, we wandered into this other party.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And so what will happen immediately is that you are grabbed. Someone is grabbed. Let's say it's Saeeda, who is one of the best people around. Is grabbed and pulled into a throng of people who are sort of blocking your path. There's like a big group of them. They are not pulling you in any sort of hostile way at first.
Yeah.
And then they start to sing in a language that you don't speak.
Oh no, you joined the conga line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they expect you to join in. And this is one of those, like, say that you're culturally wise and know the ways of the world, right? And not joining in the singing here.
It's bad.
It's bad. It will immediately mark you as like an outsider who doesn't know why the hell you're here. Because, sometimes local Uduashans or even Ketrisi people do join Skovlan celebrations. Like, it does happen. But not people who don't know how to behave. And you have no idea what the song is or what it's about or why.
Yeah, it's so lucky, on the other hand, that I do have a demon in me for whom language is not a problem and for whom rhythm, if not music, is its reason for existing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark a voice for song. And I'm just going to mutter under my breath, Samum, if you've ever, this would be the time. And I think they're unable to say, if you've ever loved me. because
Uh-huh.
that is a dangerous thing to say. But
Yeah.
like that's what they're thinking. They're like, you better do this for me, right?
Okay. Sure.
So the
So I
sway here is almost. I think one of the reasons it's desperate is I'm trying to convince the demon to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay, you can try to persuade the demon you are carrying to sing a Skovlan patriotic song. This is.
Yeah.
I will call this acceptable, but it's definitely desperate with good reason.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And it's sort of desperate for the whole crew, right? Because you are pulled into this crowd, and all of you have to blend in, and it's like if you don't blend in, you are getting kicked out of the party, right? So we're starting off on that note already. But maybe Saeeda can turn the situation around.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to assist you.
Fantastic.
I also had an idea for an assist, but it might require. Can I assist for a flashback? Is that something you can do?
I can assist
you
for
can.
free.
Okay, all right. Would you like to assist from my idea? Let me pitch
sure.
you the idea.
Okay,
Well,
if
what
you
if so Bidrohi, Mushfiq, Mufiz, and Gunnar, were all together, and Mufiz had a big bottle of moonshine. So what if we all got drunk and Gunnar was singing this song?
Excellent.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
I think you should assist with this because it's your idea.
Yeah, spend one stress and
Excellent.
and assist by having kind of learned to mumble along to the song. So the reason this works, I think, is that if Saeeda can pull this off, then Bidrohi and Mushfiq will be able to at least follow along, make the mouth movements.
Yeah. Great.
Mhm.
So it's desperate standard, right?
Yes, standard. You can sway your pocket demon. This is a thing that's possible to do because he loves you. So
Yeah, great, fantastic. One bonus die.
Desperate
6.
sway, one bonus
Nice.
die. But you roll a 6.
6, 4, 2, 4.
Mm-hmm. So Thamum's voice rises with the strains of a patriotic Skovlander song, and we hear the voice mingle in with the crowd, and the effect here is that these people, they take to you. You may not look like them, but you know the song. You can clearly sort of fit in.
We both hit the accuracy. What more solidarity could you ask for from us?
Exactly. And so there is this big crowd of Jackal and her affiliates, because obviously this is not just her gang in attendance. She's invited, movers and shakers throughout the community, everyone who's a little bit rich and so on in her neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so I think a Skovlander, probably some sort of union boss or foreman.
Yes.
Who
Excellent.
Is, important in the business. He pulls you aside and goes, "Damn, you got a fine set of pipes on ya."
And Saeeda looks at him and says, "Well, I try my best. I've had lots of practice yelling against." And then they just look up at the boat and then they tap their nose as if to be like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But unwise to say it out loud, right?
What language are you guys talking in?
Hadrathi.
Hadrathi? Yeah, again.
Yeah, I don't think you could actually the demon can't make you speak Skov.
The
Skov language, right? But I also think that it's one thing to be able to. He understands that you are not fluent in his language, right? So he kind of effortlessly code switches as he figures it out, just because it's easier because he is fluent in Hadrathi. And
I think maybe it's that because I also need to remember that she's not she doesn't talk within this accent. Maybe she tries to speak in Skovish, and that's why her accent is really bad, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then
he's gonna pick up on that. And then thank fucking God, I didn't have to continue doing this.
Yeah. He is an educated man. He speaks Hadrathi fairly well. This is not true of everyone present, so the language barrier is continuing to be a problem. But you rolled a 6 here, so there's no further consequence. So this big man kind of pulls you aside, and he says, "Well, I'm glad you want to celebrate with us. The turning of the seasons, and that's what this originally was about before the whole Lockport incident. But we can celebrate 2 things at once. Now, come sit with me, and anyone who can sing like that deserves a nice drink. Need it after bellowing."
Yes. I think what I want to do here then is, as I drink with him, because this guy seems like, he knows somewhat like what's going on and is fairly like put together. As I like go along with him, I'm gonna like try and signal to Mushfiq and Bidrohi, this is me providing cover, right?
Yep.
So as I do this, and the nice little old lady goes and talks to this nice man about, yeah, we're gonna have a drink and be friends. That's me covering for you. So now, I'm doing my job.
Right.
Yeah.
I know who this is, by the way. He's one of the NPCs in the Lockporters gang, who are like Steve Doors and so on from Skovlan. He's the Bob.
The Bob.
The Bob.
The Bob.
Is that what everybody calls him? The Bob?
The Bob.
Yeah.
Charismatic, maverick, intelligent.
Yeah. Charismatic
Nice.
and gregarious fellow who is actually fairly interested in everyone getting along. And okay, then we've also learned that he's involved in their attempt to build a labor union. So I guess he will talk to Saeeda and he will give you some pamphlets about workers organizing.
Oh man, if he thinks Saeeda is not well read in whatever passes for Marxism in this world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, I think they will talk about, primitive accumulation and the real need for us to like engender class consciousness across the lines of community. 100%. Yeah.
Okay, and now I guess we know why he's so welcoming of outsiders too. He's like, yes, workers of the world unite. Excellent.
Yeah,
so you're making friends with the Bob.
Well, technically, none of us have jobs.
Yeah.
Self-employed.
Technically, that is true.
Yeah. So we need Marxism more than anyone.
Indeed. Anyway, this does leave Mushfiq and Bidrohi like relatively free to act because this guy commands the presence of his gang, right? And he effortlessly makes himself the center of attention talking to Saeeda. So you guys have a bit more room to maneuver. What do you do?
Okay. I tap the side of my nose and I give Mushfiq a big wink, and then I kind of like nod my head towards the crowd in a gesture that Bidrohi thinks is very significant and easy to understand, but which means nothing to Mushfiq.
Yeah. Mushfiq simply says, "Oh no."
And then the
It's a
Bidrohi
common occurrence for Mushfiq. Oh no.
and then Bidrohi just heads into the crowd, and then he finds his Skovlander, and he's like, "Bro, where are the hamburgers?"
Yeah. Absolutely. So this guy turns. I don't think this is an action because where is the food is a normal question at a party. On the other hand, you are Bidrohi. Are you wearing any sort of disguise at this point?
No.
Okay, then I think it is a roll.
I'm standing there with my flower crown. I'm wearing Jackal's one boot.
Yeah, I think this is a roll then, just for no one in the crowd to like spot that you are fucking Bidrohi, like Jackal's rival.
I don't care about that though.
Yeah, I know. It's just some sort of action roll to persuade this guy. Like, maybe it's persuading this guy, maybe it's avoiding attention. It's up to you how you want to frame it. But getting what you want in this situation, which is just to be led to the hamburgers without causing a massive stir, is an action roll.
Can I call it a fortune roll in the sense that I don't really care if there's a stir? So maybe on a 6, there is no stir at all?
Yeah, sure. We can frame it this way.
Yeah. It's a concert, I think.
Okay, let's just see. So you will be led to the hamburgers. The question is just how much problems do you cause along the way? Fair enough.
Some problems. It's a 4.
Some problems. You roll a 4. Lovely. So I think the guy spots you, and I think he says like, yes, right, follow me. And he like nods. And he is making some sort of assumption about you. And this is this is sort of the stir or consequence here. He is definitely alerting other people to that this is happening. And suddenly you are escorted by some big men. It happens fairly subtly, but a couple of guys that he nods his head at. He does the exact same thing you did with Mushfiq, except for him it works. And so a couple of enforcers come up and like escort you along the way, and very pointedly make sure that you don't get into any sort of trouble.
Yeah, Hamish, how's it going?
Hmm.
Haven't seen you since the thing where you remember the thing, like there was Alcadar and Khatam, then there was like Mushfiq Bhai's love interest, and also Jekyll, and then there was the cops showing up. You remember the thing?
I remember the thing, yeah. I remember the thing. And they lead you over. And since we have established that like Mushfiq has a chance to poison the meat, I think they're still on like the appetizers. So they haven't served the main course yet. But at this point you can see Cutlet. So you and Mushfiq, if he follows you, can be led over to where the food is prepared. And it's an outdoor festival, obviously, since they're burning stuff. So I think the kitchen is also outdoor. So you have this classic, food stalls being set up, like rickety little stalls, like the big pots and the big pans in the background, with like people frying a lot of stuff in a big wok and whatever, right? All of that being unpacked. But for the moment, they are serving up the appetizers, which means I think they haven't gotten to like the main meat course yet. They're about to, they're preparing the first big batch of mincemeat and stuff. And for now, they are serving up candied apples as like a treat. Things for me to. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Mushfiq's gonna try to head towards the open kitchens. I think, is there are people here dressed in traditional Scottish kind of costumes, that kind of thing?
I think probably not. It's still a poor immigrant community, right. So like people have tried to put on nicer clothes, but it's not like when you're a refugee from a war, you don't necessarily bring your nice suit. Yeah. Or you do maybe, but you don't bring it out for anything but extremely important occasions. So.
Yeah. All right. I think Mushfiq is just dressed. I think a fairly nondescript kind of way, just button-down shirt, working trousers, that kind of thing. So I'll try to make my way towards the kitchen. Is that going to be a roll?
Oh, if you want to get into this open air kitchen, then yeah, absolutely, because they don't just let guests wander in there. So you can probably sneak inside, but
I would assist you.
Here's what I'm trying to do. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and then we can see how other rolls are. Mushfiq's gonna go towards the kitchen. I think he understands how kitchens work, right? He would, and he's looking for I think he knows what to look for, where the how they're preparing the meat, and he's gonna ask. He's gonna basically walk up to someone and go, "Yeah, I'm here to relieve you. You can take your break now."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So you can tell me what sort of action you think it is, but I think that it is desperate because Cutlet runs a tight ship. And I think by default it is limited in the sense, and the reason it's limited is you can fool this one person that you're relieving of their shift. This action will not fool anyone else. So you can try to step it up to standard to make it more convincing. But otherwise, even on a success here, this guy will switch with you, and then you're going to stand out like a sore thumb because no one else on the staff know you. But, he's alone right now, so you can switch with him just real quick. So desperate limited. Unless you want to do something to change your position and effect, of course, which you totally can.
All right. If I were to play... there's another way I'm thinking. But this is what I could do if I was playing Emma's character. If I was Moss, this would probably work better. But but I'm not. So maybe I can do it in a more Mushfiq kind of way. So it's an open air kitchen. Yeah. Can I climb something to get an aerial view?
You can totally climb something if you want to take a different approach. I think that will not necessarily get you into the kitchen, but you can have standard effect in getting up onto a nearby building above where they're cooking. Sure. So I still think it's desperate because it's sneaking around and the situation is fairly tense, but that one would probably be desperate standard.
Okay. So sorry, can you say that again? What can I do? What am I climbing?
So there's a building behind this open air kitchen. Okay. So you can climb the building, and there's probably some sort of awning hanging out a little bit where you can crawl out and be above where they're cooking. Mm-hmm. I think that's reasonable.
And then that is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna be desperate standard.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assisting.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're assisting by being a distraction, I take it?
Exactly. All eyes are on me, as they should be. And brother, I am with you.
Uh-huh.
Which lets me assist Two
Yeah.
times per. It's Blades fans will know this ability as Foresight, but I have renamed it as Brother, I am with you.
Yes. So, Bidrohi does what Bidrohi does best, I guess, which is talk loudly to Hamish, like they have the warm bread and the candied apples, and you're loudly sampling them, waiting for your hamburger.
Oh no! I think I'm going to do something before I start eating, but I think this can already provide cover for
Yeah,
Sherikatam.
fair enough.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see Sherikatam get his way on top of the building so that he can survey the meat.
Survey the meat.
Mhm.
I'm surveying the meat with a 6.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
totally
So-
neat, guys.
Yes. So, what we see is Mushfiq disappear into the crowd, climb up a drain pipe in an alleyway that no one is passing through, and getting on top of this building, which is like a 2-story building. I think it's some sort of, like, this is obviously on a square because it's a public location. So I think this is, yeah, let's say it's one of the lock porter's offices, actually. So it's like a residence, but it's also on top there. They have a bunch of like union records and stuff, but you don't care about any of that. You're going up on the roof, crawl out on an awning, and I think you will see one of the big ass pans being dragged out over a fire, and then I think you see Cutlet from up here. Like, I think this is a fun time for him to enter the scene. So you see him personally walk in. He's like this big scarred dude, big muscles. He's got a tiny little chef hat on that's too small for his head.
Lovely.
It's like too tight and keeps slipping off. And a big white apron. He's done his best to look nice for the occasion.
All right.
And yeah, he steps up to this like big pan and gestures at his underlings and is going to start preparing. For some reason, what entered my mind now is we've done Jackal with a kind of southern accent, so I guess what they serve at this Skovlan event is southern style chili. So
Okay.
it's a big pot of meat and beans and chili, and that's what he's going to be making. That's like one of the main courses.
Where's
So we
Cutlet
have-
from? Is he like Uduashan?
I think Cutlet is Uduashan, yes, but
Yeah, okay.
you know, he can learn these recipes, right?
Yeah.
If that's what they ordered, that's what they ordered. And it somehow it fits Jackal that her favorite food is a big pot
Yes.
of chili. So so yeah, that's what he's going to be making.
All right. So we haven't said what I'm poisoning the meat with.
Mm-hmm.
Might
No, we
be
haven't.
no, but it might be funny if it's like a piece of the mango from the disease tree that we found in the last session.
Ugh. Ugh.
I mean, I'm not against it, but I will say that that's not going to be just, they kind of get food poisoning. That's going to be maybe they turn into mangroves.
Oh, that's
So
true.
you're-
Yeah, let's not do that.
You want to put some mangrove bark in it. I mean, you can totally do it. I was about to say, where are you getting the poison from? I think it's possible to use the
Or
mangrove tree, but
I want to do something like citrus flavor. You know what I mentioned in the leech extract earlier? That's what this
Yeah.
is. This is from just pure citrusy leech
Okay.
extract.
I
No
think
one
you
knows
need
what
to-
it's for.
You should probably acquire an asset, right?
Yeah.
yes, I think this is acquire an asset, so it's a flashback. It won't cause any stress, but
Right.
I will give you a choice. You can either simply pay a coin or 2 stash for this stuff, and you have just bought it, right, for a coin or 2 stash, and then we'll roll for the quality. Or you can invoke one of your contacts here, and I think the appropriate contact you have is you have a contact called Aziz, a bartender, and
Oh, is this the kind of poison that you could, in a small quantity, put in a drink and it would make the
Yes.
drink interesting?
I was thinking
I
that, yes.
mentioned that like we were talking about how citrusy tea different, and I as a joke I said, man, this doesn't have any leech extract in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the choice I will offer you is either you can just pay Aziz a coin and then roll, or you can start a 4 o'clock of your tab has run out, or rather, let me put it like this: it's a 4 o'clock called repaying your tab. So if you don't want to pay him now, then he's gonna be like, fine, I'll do you one last service, but you need to pay your tab back, and then it's a project you will have to work on.
I will definitely do that, because if you look at what like at the very start when I made this crew sheet, what I put down as notes for Aziz the bartender is
yes, that you haven't paid your tab to him. I know. So he's going to be pissed with your shit. So it's a 4 o'clock of repaying him, and maybe you will have to repay him in services, maybe in coin, but it will be a project. Either way.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll start the 4 o'clock.
Repaying Aziz, or paying off your tab or something like that. Cool.
4 o'clock, you said, right?
Yeah, 4 o'clock. All right. Then you have the poison. I guess we should still roll for how good it is. So I'll quickly do that, because that's how acquiring an asset works. You roll for the quality.
Yeah, we should roll for tier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly roll your tier and just see just a sense of how good this poison is.
It's tier 0.
It's tier 0. So I think what it can accomplish. I think what it can accomplish in this situation is it can make the meat taste bad.
No, that's enough. I think. We just want to break up I think Cutlet's connections. So
yeah, exactly. I don't think you need particularly high quality to just be like, this food tastes terrible now.
Yeah, I'm not genociding the Skovlander refugee populations.
Yeah. It's mostly, it will not be like a subtle thing where people taste it and then get diarrhea or something. It'll just be like they'll taste it and then they'll spit it out, and that's that. That's
exactly what I need. All right, we're good. Okay, so I'm gonna fix on top of building.
This guy is cooking up this big pot of chili, and I guess you will still need to do some sort of action to get the poison into it. I think you have gravity on your side, but you can't just drop the bottle in without it being noticed, probably. So
the idea was to somehow grapple hook something on the other side, and then
you're gonna use your grappling hook. Okay, sorry. I was gonna ask
I was gonna position myself directly on top of the chili and then pour the contents of the bottle down onto it. But Cutlet's right there, and he's gonna notice leak extract raining on his.
That's the problem right now, right? You're in a position where you can just pour it down, but you can't really do it without anyone noticing unless you do something first.
Okay, don't worry, I got this.
Okay, let's cut back to Bidrohi.
Yes, because I'm doing things in the meanwhile, which probably, depending on how into this whole I will supervise my people thing Cutlet is, he may already be distracted. But if not, I will do something that will definitely distract him.
Okay, sure. So you were just sat over by the appetizers, which he's not paying super close attention to, but you can do something to draw his attention.
I'll be like, talking to Hamish, and where's Jackal? Surely I can see her.
So the situation is, the reason that these people escorted you over here is so that Jackal can talk to you, actually.
Oh, okay.
So she is coming over.
I want to see her too.
Intending to have a chat with you.
Jackal!
Oh man.
She comes closer and she goes, "So, the Bob dragged your ass all the way over here, did he?"
No, I dragged my own ass.
You dragged your own ass? Then why the hell's the Bob talking to your grandma? He says, nodding over to where Saeeda is talking to the Bob.
Know. Maybe he's trying to get into her salwar kameez.
Yeah. I think she just casually clicks out the knife and says, "You best explain what you're doing here, and you best start talking quickly, because I assumed the Bob was trying to broker some peace. If that ain't what he's doing, I see no reason why I should make an attempt."
Oh shit, oh fuck. Okay, listen, Jackal. We can have the stabbing and the fighting and the rolling around the ground, trying to get at each other's knives before the other person gets at the knives, and try not to stab each other and have all the sexual tension and all that. We can do that later, but you are having a very nice feast here. I totally respect your cultural traditions. I didn't come here for you, I must admit. I came here to talk to the man who is catering for you, because he is a piece of shit.
Mhm. Okay, and you're trying to draw Cutlet's attention by saying this out loud.
Yeah, in fact, I will go get, unless she wants to stop me, I'm going to go get his attention too. But I don't know if, but I'll give him a
Yeah.
chance to like react to something
In
first.
this moment, you were trying to pick a fight with him. I think you're close enough that he can hear you, and like.
Okay.
Let's-
Then what's going to
let's see.
happen is this.
Mhm.
I'm going to be
However-
like, sorry.
I'm setting up your position and effect here, right? I think that let's not call this desperate yet. I think your position is risky by default because
Mhm.
she's not about to like stab you here and now. But I think you have limited effect, and the reason for this is that Cutlet, as all the flatbread uncles, takes catering quite seriously, and you're going to get limited attention in that you're going to get his attention, but not to have him. You won't with this action get him to actually step away from his pot.
Mhm.
Like he can look away, but yeah.
But here's where things get very spicy.
Mhm.
I'll be like, and also, Jekyll, I enjoyed your shoe very much. It's a very cool shoe. I would like to buy one very much like it. Perhaps we can talk about where I can get shoes like this later. But it looks much better on your foot. What's she wearing, by the way? Because
At the
I stole
moment.
her. I stole her cool shoes.
Yes. That's a good question. What is she wearing? I think she's not wearing. Well, she had a second pair of cool shoes, so I guess she's wearing them because she would be wearing her
That's
nice,
true. That's
nice
true.
things. So she's wearing her
Jackal-
other pair of cowboy boots.
Jackal, those are very cool shoes, but we know those are backup understudy shoes, and you want this one back. I will give it to you back right now. Just I have one last thing I need to do with it. Can I do one last thing with it? Thank you very much, Jackal. I know you. I appreciate it very much. So I have an ability called Demand Satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
You can issue a challenge to a single opponent to compel them to fight you for a few moments. Take one stress to draw their full attention, plus one stress for each extra feature. So I'm going to take the shoe off, and I'm going to hold it in my hand, and I'm going to walk up to Cutlet and go, Cutlet, this is for Mofi's Bhai, and I'm going to smack him really hard in the face with it.
Okay. Well, now you've traded position for effect, so now it's desperate standard. You're attempting a lot here. But yes, this will distract him, but it is extremely desperate. Not just because like of him, because you're also offending Jackal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I do think like these abilities let me do the actual challenge itself should not be a roll because I can just do it with this ability.
Oh no, you've issued a challenge to him. The question is how well all this goes.
Yeah. So I'll just take all the features once. So taking one stress to draw their full attention, and I would like him to fight me for a few minutes. Mm-hmm. I don't want his companions to intervene for the duration. In fact, why the hell not? Let's go all the way. My duel attracts a supportive audience.
Okay, so you're spending stress for all of the features.
In that case, I know how I'm assisting, which is I'm going to point to what is going on here. And I'm going to say to the Bob, oh God, what is my... youth these days, come. And I'm the supportive audience is gonna be me and my friends, including the Bob.
I think as we have learned, the Bob's interest in all of this is actually to keep violence from spilling out so that there can be class consciousness and solidarity. So it makes a degree of sense that he is a supportive audience, I guess.
Yeah. And like nobody likes Cutlet. No one likes Cutlet.
I think it's that nobody likes this. Yeah.
Okay, so you are drawing a supportive audience, you're keeping Cutlet's allies from intervening, and you want to draw his attention for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And you challenge him just by hitting him with a shoe out of nowhere? Did you say anything to him? Did I miss what you said to him? You were talking to Jackal.
No, I did. I walked up to him and said, this is for Mofi's Bhai.
Okay, yeah. So that's the one thing you said to him. Everything else was for Jackal. Good.
Yes. Yes. So now it's going to be mano a mano, 1v1.
Okay, sure.
Let's see how
Let's see this roll, yes.
What is this roll, though? Because the challenge... I don't need to roll to challenge. The challenge has been thrown, so now
challenge
what
been
happens?
issued, yeah. I think the roll here is to see how much does this happen on your terms. So I think it's probably a sway. Like the thing that could go wrong here is that he will fight you, but he will not necessarily like step out of his kitchen or away from what he's doing. It sort of depends. If you can succeed in persuading him, then he'll just be like, fine, a duel it is, and set his other things aside. Or he might just fight you. right? Because your ability doesn't prevent him from just basically like hitting you with a ladle and not leaving. Is it fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
What the role is for is here, can you get this to happen on your terms? It is happening because of your ability, but
yeah. And all the other stuff is going to be applying as well. But yeah, okay, makes sense. What did you say it was? Was it desperate standard?
yes.
Okay.
Maybe your ability switches it to risky standard, actually. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because it's now just 1v1 with this guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think because the ability, it's risky standard, actually.
Okay.
Remember, you have a bonus die from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 bonus die from assistance.
Standard. See how it goes. It's a 6.
It's a
I
6.
will point
From
out
this-
it's the bonus die. So clearly it's the Bob and me who make the difference.
Yes. So you swing the shoe at him, and he's about to just hit you, and then he notices the Bob's presence, I guess, and he realizes, like, because the Bob is an even more important person than Jackal. He is like a pillar of the Skovlan community for real. And he goes like, yeah, if I ruin this guy's party with him watching, that's really bad. I cannot just do this in the kitchen. So he grabs the boot as you hit him, and he goes like, fine, kid. I'll duel ya. But don't respect my kitchen, and don't respect the work of Tomuchi. He says as he holds up the boot, because that's the man who made it. And
Cool.
he
Like
sets
I
down the boot.
understand. Yeah, I understand that the Muchi is a joke about Gucci, but also Muchi is the word for mustache in many South
good.
Asian languages. So it's
Good.
perfect.
Yes, the mustache man who makes shoes. There you go.
Yes. Yeah.
Listen, these boots are made for walking. These boots are made for stomping.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That helped me so
He-
much. The fact that you
he
set it up
rolls-
and then refused.
Yeah.
Oh.
He rolls his shoulders backwards and he just reaches out for an assistant. And I guess he is a devotee of like a war god, right? So he takes this kind of seriously. And he goes, I don't know who you are or who Mophis is, but I don't back down from a fight. However, this is my kitchen. We do this outside.
Very good. Your kitchen is nasty as fuck, so let's step outside.
Yeah, he just kind of grumbles.
Yeah, I will just say, because I think we can't, it kind of cuts both ways, right? The fact that the Bob is here limits Cutlet, but it's, to the same extent, I gotta, kind of chastise Bidrohi for like constantly insulting him. So I will just say, Bidrohi, it is one thing to act with honor. It is another to engage in unnecessary mockery.
No,
And I think
Auntie, it's very necessary. Like it's like smells really bad in there. Like, I
Bidrohi?
don't know.
Do not
I don't-
disrespect me in front of all of these people.
Okay,
Just finish it.
fine.
And I think what I'm doing here is I'm not saying A, that the mockery is unwarranted, and I'm not saying B, that you can't go and duel him. What I am saying is don't make it look so bad that winning is worse than losing.
No, okay, fine. But I have seeded into people's minds the idea that there might be something fucked up in this kitchen.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent. So, what will happen here is that he is given his weapon, and what sort of cool weapon does the devotee of a war god carry with him? Because obviously he carries with him a proper weapon. So,
Yes.
Anyone have a suggestion?
Maybe he switches, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a 7-day week. It's a 7-headed god.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
So
Okay.
I think every day, and he's got 7 things, right? And if I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
roll D7.
necessarily,
We'll roll
I don't
D7.
know what happens if you roll gift.
That's a 3 though.
Okay. What
Which
is the third one?
is-
Is it
Spear.
it is a spear. So yeah.
spear? Oh, excellent.
So yeah, I guess he reaches out, and one of his associates gives him the spear that he carries, consecrated to this day.
I think
so
at
he
first
does
he,
that.
I think at first he hands him a sword and it's like slaps him until he gives him a
Yeah.
spear.
Yeah, No, he carries a special consecrated weapon with him every day, actually.
That's true.
So he doesn't have his sword with him.
Mhm.
He gets a spear handed to him by an underling, and it's a military spear. It's like probably borderline illegal for him to possess this. It's yeah, in fact, it is illegal. We have established he's in trouble with the Fursan for many reasons, and they're just looking for an excuse to get him. So this is straight up an illegal spear. It belongs to the Fursan. He's like torn off the banner that hangs from it, but it's just a Fursan spear.
Every single of his weapons is also literally a murder weapon in an open investigation, right?
Yeah.
And he carries around openly flouting the law.
Uh-huh. So he steps away, and I think this is Mushfiq's chance to poison the chili. And I think I don't think it's like automatic success, even though but you have been properly set up. So I think you're in a position now of controlled standard. You can do it, and it's not like the risk is not that anyone will spot you outright. The risk is simply that someone might figure out something is up.
Right.
Because no one's looking directly at the pot.
So I mean, I can't like just toss a bottle into the pot. I have to position myself first, right?
Yeah. You have to
sneak
out on. You have to like sneak out on the awning or whatever, like expose yourself for a moment, right?
Yeah. Okay.
That's the risk.
So yeah, I'm just gonna do what I said I was gonna do earlier, which is try to hookshot something on the that's opposite me,
and
just
swing over the pot.
Yes.
Tarzan swing over the pot and some Tom and Jerry bullshit.
Yes.
Okay.
It's. I'm sorry. You.
No, it's just funny. It's because it's so. I'm not critiquing it. Just so funny.
I don't like critiquing it, but just a few moments ago, you did the Bugs Bunny challenge too.
Yes.
We wear our influences on our sleeves.
Oh yes. All right. Yeah, that's the action. I'm gonna swing over the pot and.
It sounds like a prowl, and the weird ass reason this is controlled, I guess, which is still is with you having it set up, is that no one is going to figure out that what you're doing is poisoning the chili.
Well, yeah, it's that thing, right? Like that psychology study where they make people watch a basketball game and a gorilla walks through the screen. This is
no one is going to notice the bottle as far as that into the crowd. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it also helps that it's Dust Bowl, so everything's like really darkly lit. We're in the immigrant quarter because there's no like lights really, except like in the front bonfire.
It's Udwasha, but yes, controlled standard.
How dare you, sir?
Did I say Dust Bowl? My bad.
Yeah, you did.
All right. Oh, sorry. What do you say the position and effect was?
Controlled standard prowls.
Controlled standard. Oh my god. Okay. Would great effect get me anything here?
Okay, I think with great effect, if you want great effect here, then what you're looking for is to do this subtly, right? I think with great effect, you can guarantee that no one will notice anything until the food is like on their plate.
Yeah.
So with great effect, you accomplish this subtly enough that like everyone will spit out their food and go, "Wow, this is awful." There won't be time for anyone to taste it.
Yeah. Risky great it is, and I'm gonna
Yeah, it makes sense to trade it up.
Pretty
So
fucking risky.
I think the risky great is that you're dropping in the entire bottle as you're going down. So
yeah. All right. Now I do have two that I'm wondering if I should try to really like steal a deal here with the.
Maybe push or
I can push.
a devil's bargain.
No, I think I'll push. I've got some stress to burn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spend 2 stress for a bonus die. Risky great.
Oh yes,
nice.
6.
Because of the push. The thing is, everyone's attention is on Bidrohi. People here feel like a gust of wind behind them, and they turn around.
I think Mushfiq's even gonna like as he does this, he's even gonna shout Geronimo.
I think you see. I think Saeeda will catch you do this, and will make a mental note to be like, there is no reason to draw attention to yourself in this fashion. Mushfiq, you must learn subtlety. You were swinging. Anyone could have seen you.
Yes, and I think okay. So then the 6 is not that people don't notice it. You like swing down, you shout Geronimo, but the drunken Skovlan crowd goes Geronimo in response, and they think you're really fucking cool.
Incredible.
I can't believe Jackal splurged on Acrobat.
Yeah, exactly. It's the bonfire acrobatics. I guess that's true. Actually, you probably go over the bonfire as you do this. It looks really cool. Okay, so you have poisoned the chili, and this is really bad for the man who's now in a duel, and he's also in a duel. And the Bob turns to Saeeda, I guess, and goes like, "Well, that seems pretty bad.
Oh,
Do we stand for this?"
no, we don't. And look, it's not acceptable. But I'm going to lean in and I will say, I didn't realize it was going to be this man. To be fair to Bidrohi, Cutlet has been extremely cruel to some of our own, and
Don't
he's-
worry. Yeah.
No, go on.
I think he actually interrupts you. He goes, "Don't worry, I'll oversee this. So, I want a nice, clean fight, yeah? No." And he's just going to step in and be like a referee.
Excellent. I love this.
Unless someone does anything about it, the Bob is going to try to limit, like, deadly violence or whatever.
I think what I will say to him is I will say, as he does this, I will say, to surrender or unconsciousness. And I'm going to try and say this, I guess, again in the in the Scottish dialect that I don't speak very well, right? But I'm trying to back the Bob up, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it in the way that you are going to do this. And this is me basically saying, look, sure, we don't want to murder anybody, but if some bones get broken, that's kind of what happens. So
okay, I think. Do you want this to be an action, Saeeda, to try to influence the Bob, or are you okay with him just judging this on his own metrics? Because I can see it going either way.
Yeah, I think. Let me ask Zoheb. Do you think that you need the help, or do you think?
So it's like, what the Bob is saying is no lethal weapons, right?
Yeah. What he's saying is no lethal weapons, but no fights to the death. I think it's like one of those, like, you can duel to first blood, but no further. So like whoever gets injured has to like concede and step down and be like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm good either way. If Saeeda thinks that we need to really drive home the point, or thinks that I might get hurt at first.
Yeah, I to be honest, I believe in Bidrohi. I don't think he's gonna get hurt, but I think what I want to drive home here is this is how good we are, right? Mm-hmm. And this is not a coincidence. We can turn up to a place that Cutlet knew that something bad might happen, and we're gonna embarrass him in front of everybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we're gonna
Yeah, the thing is, Cutlet won't necessarily play according to the rules, but the Bob is going to attempt to have this be done.
Yeah.
And there may be consequences. If the duel goes wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, and if this man attempts to cheat, the Fursan are no doubt only a flashback away or something, right?
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
So yeah. Okay, cool.
But
in that case, yes, I would like to try and
Okay, you would like to try and influence him.
Yes.
Cool. Then.
So sway.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's risky standard.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Risky standard. I'm wondering if. No, I mean, the fact is, I have 3 dice in sway. It is that's so many dice. I think it's fine.
Okay, I'll save this as later then.
Yeah. I think it's fine. I think because even if this goes badly, it's not like. We won't stumble, right? So,
Yep.
And it's a 5, so it's fine.
Okay. So what will happen here is that the Bob will turn to you and
Mm.
he will say like, "I value your counsel, and you seem to know the fighters better than I do." And so he's gonna let you like be the referee if you want, or at least like make the calls for what is and isn't
Sure.
allowed.
Yeah.
Because neither of these people are Skovlan, or he doesn't know them, so
Yeah.
it sort of makes
Yeah.
sense. He
Yeah.
is going to let you be the referee. The consequence that you accept here is damage to your name. Like, he knows you at this point. You've introduced yourself. He knows that you're
Yes.
Saeeda and so forth.
Yeah.
And so, whatever goes wrong here, he will put squarely on your shoulders. So
Okay.
you will owe.
I do.
You know.
Yeah. I want to resist this, but I know exactly how I want to resist this, which is that I want to suggest that I believe fully in my impartiality, but at the end of the day, I have a bias. So I'm going to ask Cutlet to nominate a judge, a referee, who will stand also that he like, and whatever, right? Like, in terms of reputation, I will say, you can have one, I'll have one, we'll cancel each other out. And then if anything goes wrong, it'll also be their side who will take some of the blame. It won't just be me.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Resist it in this way,
Right.
and he will have one of his fry cooks step in as a referee.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and like the thing is, he's a cultist, right? So like probably his fry cooks also can fight or something.
Yes.
So
I think it's very, very funny though that he just nominates like a teenage boy this is like his first summer job, and now he has to be a referee for a duel.
Excellent. I just rolled resolve, by the way. I hope that's okay.
Yeah. And you rolled a 6,
Okay.
so it's fine.
Yeah,
all right. So
not stressful.
there is an impartial. Yes, there is an impartial jury of referees overseeing the duel, consisting of Saeeda and a fry cook.
Yes. Can you give this fry cook a name? Because I believe this person may end up becoming important.
Yes, he may.
Don't let me name him. Don't let me name him.
No, I will let you name him because you nominated away. What's the fry cook's name?
Yeah.
Honestly, the first, Bhejal.
Okay.
Did you
Yes.
just say Bhaijan?
Bhejal.
Bhejal. Great. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Bhejal, the fry cook.
Aadiyat knows why it's funny, and I will not explain.
Okay, good.
Great.
So he steps up and goes like, "Oh, okay, everyone. I want a fair, clean fight." He says, his voice still breaking.
Yeah. And I will just say, like after he finishes, and I will say, and if you have to pick between fair and clean, we'd prefer clean.
Yeah, absolutely. Cutlet is just watching Bidrohi like completely unamused throughout all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I will say, okay, fight's about to start. I will dedicate this fight to Mofis Bhai, who has been unjustly persecuted despite being an artist and an incredible chaiwala, and actually a pretty nice guy once you get to know him.
Mm-hmm.
And who do you dedicate this fight to?
Yeah. So the guy still doesn't know who Mofis is. I think he was one of those. Yeah. It was Tuesday to me. Like, I beat up a guy selling tea, but I think he just like looks at you. He like raises his shoulders a little bit, grips the spear, and then he says, I dedicate this fight to seven-headed war, the chained god." And he's just
I just like hear this and I go, I kind of wish Bidrohi had said I dedicated to the Prince of Endings, but I guess that's not cool enough for him. He had to do it for some dude who makes chai.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then does Cutlet reveal his scars?
Yes, absolutely. He like casts off his apron, I guess. He wasn't wearing like a cool cloak or cape, but he is wearing an apron, and I guess that has to stay clean for his cooking. So he casts off the apron and flexes his scarred pecs.
Very nice.
Yes, he was shirtless under the apron. Hygiene is not his strong suit.
Yeah. Very, very nice, Mr. Cutlet. I see your scars and I raise you mine. And then I take off my shirt and I'm a duelist, so I have exciting scars as an item.
Okay, cool.
They're all over the place. They're pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I got each of these scars by losing a fight and learning a lot. And as you can see, I have learned a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
So either way, I am winning today.
he
me.
he looks at you, I think, and he smiles, and he says, "Yes, there's a lot we could teach each other."
Okay, bro, that's kind of fucked up. I don't like where this is going. Okay, so you have spear. I understand it's a religious thing for you. I suppose we're supposed to fight non-lethally. I look at the referees quizzically.
I mean, it's up to Saeeda right now, I think.
I brought my swords, auntie. Should I take something else?
And I will, like, I think for a moment I'm like, wouldn't it be very funny if Bidrohi beat him unarmed? And then
It would
I'm
be
gonna
very
be
funny.
like, yeah. And then I will think, I think Bidrohi would agree that it would be very funny. So I will say, I think you can beat him with your hands, Bidrohi. Think of it as a challenge.
So you're not telling the big scary man to disarm. You're just telling Bidrohi to.
Yes, correct. The big scary man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine. But like,
Okay.
From an outer character perspective, I just think it's funny that Bidrohi has not fought anyone with a sword yet. But in character, this is how incredible we are. Okay.
Okay. So
We're a
Bidrohi's going to
school
fight
of
this man
swords
unarmed.
folk. Yeah. And we're gonna kick
Okay.
this dude's ass without even using a sword. Watch.
Oh.
Just you
Okay.
watch.
Uh-huh.
Okay, auntie. As
Uh-huh.
I said, either way, I'm going to learn a lot. If I'm going to fight unarmed, I'd like a little bit. I mean, guys, it's a celebration. Play one of your like Scottish jigs or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, I think Jackal, who is now entranced, like you're her rival, she will actually snap to one of her players to make it so because it's funny.
Yes.
So a reel starts to play in the background. Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, the guy just holds a spear and is like, "Fine, I'll just beat the shit out of you with a haft." It's...
All right.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, what do you do? What sort of attack do you actually make at him? I think he's the sort of guy who would like wait for you to lunge or something. Also, he has a spear and you're unarmed, so it's just in his interest to wait for you to approach, so he can like, hit you before you
Stab
reach
you.
him.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot he had a spear. It's the worst thing to do against somebody with more reach to sacrifice your reach. But that's why it's gonna look so good.
Yes. So what do you do? I will not lie. The odds are pretty stacked against you here, but
I'm going to start dancing, and I'm going to start like doing the Skovlan jig, kind of like on the spot, and then my dancing is going to get a little bit more erratic, and then I'm going to touch the ground, and I'm going to do a flip and a kick.
Okay, so you're river dance capoeiraing him. Good.
Yes. The idea is to hopefully kind of like do something really weird and bullshit stupid that he probably won't realize it's going to happen before he can stab me with the spear.
Okay. Oh.
Or hit me with the haft of it, I guess.
Yeah. So, okay, river dance capoeira, got it. So it's desperate, obviously, because he's an armed man. It would be desperate even if you were not an achieved fighter. And the question is if this is limited or zero. I think it's limited in the sense that you can get inside his reach. So you won't actually like hurt him with this, but you can probably clear out the reach advantage. Sure.
That's fine. That's fine. That's
limited.
good enough for me. Desperate limited, which is fine. I am using even the odds, which lets me get a +1 dice for fighting unarmed or with an improvised weapon.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Apparently, I'm really smart, and I was helping you use your ability. Incredible.
Yeah. Why did you think I agreed to this?
I thought you agreed to it because it was funny. Great, fantastic.
That's the Duellist playbook for you. This is
Very
what
good.
They do.
Can I have a devil's bargain?
Sure. So, I think a suitable devil's bargain here is... Oh man. No, that doesn't make any sense. Give me a second.
Your very
Uh-huh.
good friend Al-Qadr An Khatam is going to hear that you put your life in danger, and he will come and see you and give you a lecture about how you should no longer do such a thing. And he's
No,
gonna
I think Bidrohi would be fine with this. This is not a devil's bargain. This is not.
no, yeah. No, I was gonna
More
say he's gonna be annoying
opportunities to
about it.
hang out with Al-Qadr and Khatam.
No. I have a devil's bargain actually, and it's a harsh one, but I think it
Okay.
sort of makes sense. It is you will have to have load 0 to pull off this. So not only will you have had to disarm, but you will have had to like
Oh.
take off all your other items. You know, like take off your belt, throw it aside, empty your pockets, or you won't have the mobility to pull off a stunt like this. So your
Oh,
load
that's
for the
super
rest of the score is 0.
That's actually fine.
Yep.
Because most of the duelist items are zero load items.
I figured, but it does
Yeah.
mean that, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you can't
won't
mark
have access
armor.
to anything else for the rest of the score if things go wrong. Nor can you mark armor.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it makes
Yeah.
sense.
No,
It's
but that's very
basically
cool.
you have a pair of pants, and that's the only thing you have on you. So
And my flower crown.
yes, fair enough.
Yes,
I guess
pretty
that's zero load too. Mhm.
Yes. Okay, very good. Suits me.
Let's see.
2 extra dice. Finesse.
Finesse, yes.
I'm
Incredible.
tense.
Mhm.
That's a 6 though.
6.
It's a 6.
Yeah.
So you leap over him, you get past the reach of his spear, you surprise him, and you get like within range with him. And his so you still have the momentum on your side because it was a 6. But I will tell you what he does, because he does not sit idle. He is kind of surprised by this, and his attempt is just going to be to try to headbutt you in the face as you come within range. Like you land, you're close to him, and he's just going to try to do that.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to
What do you
do Johnny Cage's thing from the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Mhm.
I'm going to do the splits and punch him in the nuts.
Okay, just go
I'm
down.
not gonna
and-
let
okay,
you.
fair enough.
Wow, that was I
Uh-huh.
have not thought about that film in 20 years, maybe. Wow.
I think about that
Okay.
film every now and then.
Uh-huh. No, this is still a very scary man, so I think it cannot be anything other than desperate. Like,
Mhm.
it's still desperate. But it's standard effect. You have gotten past his guard, you can reasonably do some damage to him at this point.
Yeah.
Standard effect will not be like he's knocked out or incapacitated, but
Mhm.
it will pick a clock.
Okay. I think this is a standard skirmish, like straightforward.
Yep. Mhm.
Well, not straightforward at all, but it is definitely a skirmish.
Yep.
Desperate standard.
Mhm.
Still got even the odds on my side.
Yep.
Does anyone have any assists or anything that they can do? That would be fictional. That would make sense fictionally, I mean.
Yeah, I think I have an assist, which is I think you have practiced against me. So maybe it's like more like a flashback assist, but I think it is we have like you have fought unarmed against me in order to like practice, and I have helped you refine your technique. So as this is happening, I will just say in our Catharisi dialect, which almost nobody else can understand anyway, I will
Uh-huh.
just say, "Watch your feet,"
Mhm.
and like hope to remind you like of the way that you need to be like paying attention to things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love the idea
because-
that Saeeda has taught Bidrohi the move of doing the splits and punching someone in the nuts. This is-
Watch your feet is what she told me when I looked, and then I looked at my feet, and then she did the splits and punched me in the nuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
It's a 5.
Okay, it's
Wow.
a 5.
Yeah, but still,
So-
yeah, absolutely.
What is going to happen here is that this guy is a devotee of a war god. He fights on a regular basis, so he's wearing a cup. This is so it still hurts, but it's not an incapacitating blow because it
Yeah.
turns out he protects himself.
Yeah.
So you still do make progress though. So it's 2 ticks on a 4 clock.
Okay.
So you discombobulate him, you knock him off balance, but there is a consequence here, and I mean, this is desperate. You are
Yep.
fighting an armed man, unarmed, and so what he's going to do is he's going to smash the spear over your head and break it in half, and it's a level 3 harm of you just being knocked out of the fight because he is
Mhm.
sticking
It's
to the
also
referee
lost.
rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the problem is it is lost, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Mm. I'm going to resist it then.
Yeah,
How
I
are
think
you
better.
resisting?
I'm. So he's going to hit me on the head. His spear's going to break. That much is
Yep.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Getting knocked out is not good.
No.
I mean, can I just resist not getting knocked out? Can I just be dazed?
Yeah.
Can this thing still break?
Yeah, you can just roll prowess and be like, I break the spear with my head. It still hurts. Like, you're still hit in the head. It's a level 2 harm then, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's appropriate. Like, again, he respects the rules kind of. So he saw an opportunity to just knock you out by hitting you in the head. He tried to take it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you have a level 2 harm from being hit in the head. You can describe that as you wish. It's probably a cool cut across the forehead, but
Yeah.
A gasp goes through the audience.
yeah.
Ooh.
You've both hit each other pretty viciously here. Like, he staggers backwards, and even if you're wearing a cup, it's not pleasant being hit in the groin. He staggers backwards, and Bidrohi has like slightly bruised knuckles, and even worse, a smashed spear over his head. And it's not totally clear that Bidrohi is going to get back up, right? And then he does.
Yeah.
Can some of it have like snapped at? Like, can the haft have been kind of like snapped off, and like there's a piece of the haft like next to me now?
Yes, sure.
Okay, because I'm going to grab that and I'm going to use that as a baton. And I'm going to beat the shit out of him.
Okay.
Is that okay?
I want to know how Mushfiq and sorry Aadiyat, but more importantly, Bhejal are responding to this.
Sorry,
Yeah.
How's Bhejal going to respond to
the fact that like he's been hit over the head and may like be close to death or whatever? But also, I presume you've like returned to the audience now, right? Like all of that stuff is done. So I just want to know, like.
Yeah.
I just pictured Mushfiq just swinging away into the sunset after that.
Okay, Mushfiq is just leaving.
No, he's back. He just appears over Saeeda's shoulder. Yeah, I'm
It's
here.
like, my job's done. Time to relax with a nice tandoori.
Yes.
Wait, yeah, sorry, what was the original question?
How is he reacting to Bidrohi being hit in the head like this? Like,
yeah.
Because this is just blow.
This is just some fry cook, right? I think. Or I think the way we've described Bhejal as just some teenage fry cook, I think he is way out of his depths and scared out of his mind, and I think that maybe that Cutlet would have picked him because he would try to rule in Cutlet's favor out of fear.
Yes. Okay, so Bhejal, we see him like wave his hands, like knockout, and then Bidrohi gets back up.
Yes. Yeah, and I will just like lightly slap Bhejal upside the head, and I will say, "You have to count to 10. That's how you know it. He's really been knocked out."
Oh, right. Thanks, Auntie. 1, and then Bidrohi gets up. And
Indeed, yeah. And it's, to be honest, possible that if we just started counting, we would have hit 7 or 8. But the fact that we had the little exchange gave Bidrohi a little more time.
Yes.
In fact, the way I want to get up is I look like I'm down, but I'm clutching the piece of haft under me, and then I'm just going to get up and hit him right on the face with one smooth motion.
Okay, sure. So let's frame this as risky standard because you have a weapon now, and I think you're taking him by surprise.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. It's still an improvised weapon, so I still get even the odds.
Yep. But let's see if you can knock this guy out.
Okay.
I don't want to draw this out too much. Like, he is a good fighter, but I mean, he's a thug. He relies more on having many people.
It's a 5. In fact, I was going to ask for Devil's Bargain, but I just pressed the button. But it's fine. It is what it is. And I would have rolled 1 less dice for dazed, but it still doesn't change the result.
Yeah. Very good. So, you have a pretty nasty lasting wound, and so I will let you choose here. There are 2 possible consequences, I think. One of them is that your attack is very vicious and just takes him out cold, but in the eyes of the Bob, this looks too brutal. Like, he isn't the referee or anything, but he is trying to, keep bloodshed to a minimum. And he said to first blood. So I think one of the possible consequences is you hit him twice, right? You break his nose, there is blood, then you hit him again before he has a chance to surrender. And so you will knock him out, but you will look brutal in the process, and the Bob will not appreciate it. That's one possibility. If you don't think this is in character for Bidrohi, then I think the other possibility is you hit him in the face, you like draw blood, he doesn't realize it, you stay your hand, and then he hits you back. So either you take a level 2 harm, or you like look brutal and vicious in the eyes of the Bob, who will not appreciate this.
I like the idea of taking another harm, level 2 harm, and I'm going to resist it as well.
Okay.
I'm going to hit him. He should go down, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to realize he's about to hit me, and I'm going to grab his fist.
Oh.
Okay. Very cool. Okay. You'll still take some sort of level 1 harm then, even as you grab his fist.
Yeah, which turns out to a level 2 harm anyway, because of...
Oh, man.
I have 2 level 1 harms, but that's fine. I just want to look cool.
Yep, sure.
Oh my god, you are so fucked up, Bidrohi.
Yeah.
Why did we nominate you for this fight? I could have fought him.
Because I wanted to fight someone.
Yeah, fair enough.
Incredible.
Okay, let's see the resistance roll. So I think what will happen here is you will take another harm, and I think that this harm is just like wrist strain, because like catching a fist, right? It does hurt the hand.
I wrote it down as arms are harmed.
Yep, fair enough. But sure, make this resistance roll, and it will, if nothing else, allow you to look very cool.
Won't even break a sweat, because I have broken other things.
Yeah. So you grab his hand, and I think because you rolled this resistance roll and you have beaten him, what happens is that you like grab his hand and you force him down on his knees, I think. And then you can just kind of like shove him over and throw him to the ground. And like he was staying up after the first hit just because of momentum, but once you throw him to the ground, it's one of those. He's not unconscious. He just is too groggy to get up. He like rolls around, tries to stand up, doesn't have the balance. And so Pejal goes 1, 2, and he like very slowly counts.
Yeah, I'm happy for Pejal to count as slow as he likes, because he's still gonna get to 10. You know.
Yeah. And Cutlet just basically like rolls around on the ground, tries to get back up, and in the end just doesn't manage to and kind of collapses.
Yeah. And as Pejal does this, in fact, I'm going to draw this out, and I'm going to say to him, I find it useful to make sure that enough time passes. Just say, tick, tick, 1. But don't say the tick, tick part out loud. Just say it in your head, right? So that people don't feel like, oh, I'm just counting very fast. Take your time with it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about them.
And then I think what I'm going to do is very dazedly, like it'll kind of look like I'm just wandering around in a daze, not knowing what I'm doing, but I'm going to head towards Jackal. And instead of my characteristic, oh, hello, Jackal, how are you, sexy sort of thing, I'm just going to kind of like stand in front of her, kind of like wobble a little bit, rummage around in my trouser pockets, and pull out a real rose.
Right, it's one of your other load 0 items.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes, and I'll just be like, no hard feelings, a great day, Skovlan Zindabad.
And then I'm going to look at Mushfiq and say, get him out of here before he causes any more trouble, huh?
No,
please.
Bidrohi, I think this is an action. You are romantic with your rival. There's no way there isn't stakes here. I don't think your harm gets in the way. If anything, your harm helps. It helps you look cooler. But,
yeah.
But I think take some sort of action to see how Jackal reacts to this.
Is it a fortune roll? Is it an action roll?
It's an action roll. It's risky standard. I think there's possibility that you charm her. There's also the possibility that things go wrong.
I think it's a sway.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to use Gallant though, because when you perform feats of finesse, it's especially impressive. You get +1 dice when making an intimate connection with someone you've impressed.
Absolutely. I was thinking of this move. You have impressed her. Wow. That's why we should have this move here.
And you're making an intimate connection with her? Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily
It's not
going to be like, let's have sex. I'll be like,
Mhm.
Sure.
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm just
Because
curious. Do you reckon your girlfriend is the jealous type?
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool.
I have the sneaking and horrible suspicion that she's both the jealous type and also the kind of person who likes to be jealous.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a recipe for horrible, horrible life choices, but luckily, I'm not actually Bidrohi, so I don't care.
Yeah. Good. Kids, don't try this at home.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you
really. Yeah.
kids, you definitely shouldn't be trying this at home.
Uh-huh.
It's not something you should do with your family.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God. Also that. Jesus.
Uh-huh.
My apologies. Bonus dice. Let's just start. I think I'll push myself. Why not?
Okay. Okay. Sure. Let's see how it goes.
I'm literally.
3 6s. Okay. Well,
That is
things go
offensive.
horribly right. So Jackal is
Yeah.
charmed. And
Jackal, you can see Jackal starting to have a crush on you. You can't because you're dazed, but Saeeda
Yes.
and Mushfiq can, which is why Saeeda's like, get this boy out of here now!
yes.
But Andy, this is great for
It's
intercultural
shut
like relations.
Yes.
What I tell you. Do you see that? I have never seen her smile like that. It's mildly off-putting. Okay?
It's a good thing you guys are speaking in Kethrisi because she just takes
Yeah.
the rose, smells it, and this is like imperceptible smile on her face. And she is really,
Yeah.
really subtle. Saeeda is just very perceptive.
I think, yeah, but also, I've been around Bidrohi like enough to know when people find him charming.
Yeah. So I think she smells the rose and she's like, she's not even able to say anything. She's just like, wow, holy shit, this guy is actually really cool. And Bidrohi like stumbles a bit backwards, still keeping up. And I think the Bob grabs him, like holds him up. So Jackal just bats her eyelashes, smells the rose, looks dazed, and then the Bob goes like, "Oh, you're right there, champ."
Yeah, and I will walk up because clearly Mushfiq is useless. Grab.
No, but Mushfiq's not useless. Mushfiq's got his own agenda because, like, the thing,
Yes.
like, all this time, Vidri's just been kind of this, like, annoying little,
What?
shit.
What?
But this was really cool. This
I've been cool since day one, bro.
Yeah. So I'm gonna walk up to Bidrohi.
Wait, this Mushfiq's gotta start
go
going.
on.
Bidrohi.
And Bidrohi is going to be like, Mushfiq bhai! Mushfiq bhai! No one can hear that.
Yeah, nobody can hear that. Great, incredible.
Yeah.
But can I get people to join in on this chant?
Yes, absolutely. I don't think it's even a roll at this point.
Okay.
Like there was a cool
Yeah.
duel, and Bidrohi won. It's just the
Okay,
thing that
in
is
that
done,
case-
right? You chant the winner's name.
Yeah, in that case, I know what I want to do, which is while this is happening, and I have some like people aren't really necessarily paying attention to me for a second. I'm gonna look at Bijal like straight in the eyes, and this like affable veneer that I've had on just drops, right? And you see the person I am behind that mask, and I'm gonna look at this like quite frankly a child,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say, your boss tries fucking with us again, we'll make this shit look like a playground duel. You understand me?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I want to make this a roll, actually. I want to make
Yeah,
a roll to
absolutely.
see how well you can impress the staff. And it's controlled great. I don't think you could have
Yeah.
the odds more in your favor.
Absolutely.
But let's see just how
yeah.
well you can pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, I've only got one die in command, but to be honest, like, yeah.
You can push yourself, or I can offer you a devil's bargain.
A bargain's
Here.
interesting here, I think. And like, the reason I wouldn't push myself is that I think fictionally there is no way this is in any way stressful for Saeeda, right?
Yes.
So a bargain's interesting here.
Yeah. So the devil's bargain is, yeah. I think it makes sense. The devil's bargain is Pejal is going to be so impressed by you and your gang that he is going to attempt to join the Rising Moon Sword School, which is a problem because he's going to be serving two masters.
Yeah, no, 100%. Me as a player is in for this. Saeeda is going to be so annoyed when this boy turns up 3 days from now, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
But for now, it's fine, right?
Yeah. So this role is more to see, like, you have impressed him. This role is more to see, like,
Yeah.
can you impress the rest of his? Can he
Yes,
carry
absolutely.
forth this message to the rest of the crew?
Yeah. Controlled. Great.
Uh-huh.
1 bonus die.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 4. I will take the 4.
Okay, so the Devil's Bargain is
4 and a 2.
Pejal is now part of your cohort. He's a problematic cohort member because
Yes.
he.
I'm going to add him to the sheet as Pejal a problem.
Yes. Very good.
You know what the word Pejal means?
No.
I actually don't.
Problem.
Yeah,
There we go.
good. Great.
It's
It
what
also
usually.
sounds a bit like bhaji, I guess, which is
Yeah.
also funny because it's
Yeah.
a fry cook.
So when we talk about in Bangladesh, when we talk about food being adulterated and fucked with, we say that there's Pejal.
Yes.
Good. Well, now you have a cook who is trying to be a martial artist on his spare time.
Well, yeah, that seems pretty bad. Yeah.
Excellent. And so you will impress this message upon the upon Cutlet's crew, and the controlled consequence is simply, and you may resist it if you want, but it's simply that the Bob figures you out.
Yeah. Oh.
So up until now, he has seen you as just like affable, trying to get along, trying to keep a lid on the situation. Now he goes like, ah, shit, this old woman has an agenda. Okay, I see.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it feels a bit harsh only because this changes the relationship drastically, right? Like for me, like a controlled consequence is more like something is up, not figured it out. But it's fine.
Oh, absolutely. The thing is, the reason it's not a worse consequence, he doesn't become your rival or anything. You're not necessarily at odds. It's just he becomes wise that there's more to you than meets the eyes.
Yeah, okay. So as long as like he also sees that the other stuff wasn't fake. It wasn't I'm playing him in order to make this happen. It's that I did this and I did that. That's great. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
like I have
that's
no
more what
problem
I'm
with that,
saying.
right? Like
he won't necessarily dislike you. Okay, so as a consequence of this, add the Bob to your sheet as a contact.
Yes. Okay. The Bob Lock Porter boss.
Yep. And so the thing is, he has you figured out, and he is going to try to use you as an asset. So this is a contact relationship, but one where he will start out asking favors of you.
Sure. You know what?
Yeah.
This is genuinely something my dad says is the best way to make friends is to ask for help. Because then that person, presuming they feel somewhat obliged, will just do the help. Like help you.
Yeah.
And then you end
So
up
the
like
Bob,
So
the Bob will ask you for help at some point now, just to cement the relationship.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Cool. So I think with that, the Bob is going to try to get Bidrohi away from this situation. Jackal is going to be super impressed with him. I guess she's still your rival, but now it definitely got complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. You can take her boot back with you if you like, I think.
Yeah, it's up to you how you want to represent this on your character sheet. Well, you did get a critical, so I think your crit bonus is that you just get the other boot. I think on the way out, she just says to one of her people, like, give him the other shoe. He's deserved it.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
You're going to have a pair of matching cowboy boots with Jackal now.
Now the boot's on the other foot.
Oh,
yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. Now the boot's on the other foot.
Much better than that. Oh God. Excellent. Muy bien.
Excellent.
Bidrohi is led away, and I think that this wraps up the score. Let us do the payoff phase, and then
XP and
we can start wrapping up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bob's caught on and wants the contract thing, and Pejal's part of the school now?
Yes. Yeah. He's gonna turn up and be like, "Wow, Auntie, you're so cool. Can I join your school?" And I'll be like, "You moron! You didn't even."
Yes.
Oh, fuck's sake, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
Yeah, he's not leaving the Flatbread Uncles either.
No,
by the way, he's just gonna be part of both gangs.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
Auntie, everyone is allowed to have a hobby.
Yes.
Yes, and his hobby seems to be getting himself killed. So you and he can be good friends, huh?
Yes.
Excellent.
Very good. So,
Excellent. Let's do
How-
payoff. Yeah.
yes. How this is going to work is you get 2 rep by default and then +1 because the uncles are 1 higher tier than you. So that's 3 rep.
Yes.
Shall I mark it?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
Please do.
Okay.
Then you earn coin based on the nature of the operation. And I think it does make sense there is some coin here because you have taken Cutlet out of like the Flatbread Uncle's internal competition. You've humiliated him. You've definitely made an enemy out of him. And
Oh, we
so
forgot a very important thing.
Mhm.
Supposedly our cohort was off kicking ass.
Yes.
Shall I
Okay,
just roll
make
that?
Yes,
Yeah.
make a quick roll. Make a quick roll for the cohort to see how
It's
successful
one
they are.
die.
kicking.
It's a 5.
Oh no, it's 2
That's-
dice.
Yeah. They're elites.
Oh, they're elite. Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we'll just call this a fortune roll. There wasn't too much opposition for them to run into, and I was about to say that there is some coin in this, and I think part of that is just them stealing coin from this dude.
Hell yeah.
So
I'm gonna
I think
to our sheet as an enemy, like to the crew sheet.
add
Does
him
that
as an
make
enemy
sense,
to
right?
the group sheet. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I also lowered your faction status with the Flatbread Uncles down by 1, and the reason it's only 1 is you planned this with Sundari, who is actually outranks Cutlet, even if she is a coward. So overall, it goes down because the organization as a whole doesn't like you beating up their members. But I think Sundari Tandori can argue your case and be like, they're with me.
Yeah. And if she hadn't been a wimp, she would be like,
Yeah,
they're not
exactly.
just with me. I did this because I'm amazing and he's a wimp.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll take what we can get.
Yes. And
Sorry,
so-
what did we agree was going to happen with the coin?
The coin. I was about to say, I think that 4 coin for a small job is appropriate, and this is a mix of what your cohort steals from Cutlet, and also I think what makes sense here is, Morphis is just going to get back in business with what you get him. So probably, he will get his equipment back, he will get some coin back and whatever, and then the reason you get coin is just he shares some of it with you, right? He shares some of his profits with you. So it's not like you're his ward boss and you get protection money on a regular basis, but he thanks you in whatever way he can.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. So
So,
1
shall
coin
I-
each and then 1 in the crew?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Mhm. So I think 4 coin makes an amount of sense.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
No, I
a
think
mix
that's
of
reasonable.
protection
Yeah.
money and his profits. It's a good deal for him because he doesn't have to pay you protection money on the regular, right? It's just like we're
Yes.
friends. You help me, and
Yeah.
probably what happened is like to thank you, he sold something he owned and gave you some of the money.
Right. Yeah, I was
And-
thinking that maybe some of the money is also like people are kind of joining our school. We get a little bit more, like a bump in subscriptions or something, right? Like
Yeah,
a bump
exactly.
in membership.
It's a collection of many small revenue streams that add up to 4
Yes.
coins.
Yeah.
Nice.
But the reason I say this is I think that we should consider going for a claim that gets us extra coin for doing certain kinds of scores, not
Yes.
because we're the kinds of bravos that terrorize people and they're scared of us, but because every time we pull off some daring heist, people are like, wow, that's the Rising Moon School, and they join us and we get more cash.
Yeah,
Exactly.
makes sense. I don't think there's a claim in this just because Morphis is just not important enough.
No, not in
to
this.
count.
Yeah, but like
yeah.
something to work
But yes.
towards, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then let us talk about heat. So I want to argue that this is contained because you did make it just a formal duel. There's also the fact that everyone hates his food and spits it out.
Oh yeah, that really helped. didn't it?
I haven't
God,
forgotten
yeah.
about that, right? He gets his ass
Yeah.
kicked and everyone goes like, wow, this catering sucks. Actually, this man is just bad at food. And
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah.
loses a bunch of business. So, but
Yeah.
I think that also contributes to it being contained. Basically, I think Mushfiq's big contribution here is that no one likes Cutlet after this and is willing to raise a fuss about it. So that's why I think it's only 2 heat.
Very good.
In fact, 0 heat because we have noble privileges.
Yep.
-2
There
heat
we
per
go.
score.
Yeah,
I knew
so
that would
0
come
heat.
in handy.
Yeah, there is a +1 for
but-
high profile or well connected target and +1 for hostile turf, both of which are true. So
Yeah.
it's still 2
Okay.
heat in total.
Okay.
Which is important because actually, if we go back all the way down to 0 heat, we don't earn any rep.
Oh,
Hmm.
So
Yep.
it's useful to have some heat so that people know we did it.
Yes. So there's a little bit of heat, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, and we did do it in order to like make clear that we're like, I think like we should still fictionally draw some heat because we did explicitly do this so people don't fuck with us, right? So
Yeah, exactly. And the flatbread uncles got a little bit upset with you, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably something you can work on. In particular, if you like do anything to strengthen Sundari within the organization, you can probably make this -1 go away. But because she's so feckless, still.
Yeah, I wonder whether she's so feckless, we just make her our puppet. Not something any single person in our crew, by the way, is good at doing. But
No.
wouldn't it be so funny if we did that? I'm going to
Yes.
mention this to Emma.
would be
I'm going to
very
be
funny.
like, hey, do you want to work on this? I think Moss is the only character who can maybe pull this off.
Yes, and speaking of faction statuses, the way they're adjust, I think your flatbread uncles goes down 1, and your Skovlander refugees goes up 1. Weirdly, but I think
What
that
about-
just makes sense as an outcome of this.
Okay, nothing with Jackal's crew.
Yeah, I think Jackal's crew returns to 0 because they were at -2, so I think you're up to -1 with them now.
Okay,
just because.
Yeah. So Jackal likes us, but her crew is still pretty.
Yeah,
exactly. She likes me, but in a complicated way, which really speaks to the inherent sexual tension of rivalries.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense that like everyone present were just like, yeah, you seem pretty okay, and this guy it turns out sucks at cooking, so you were right to kick his ass. So.
Yes.
Shall I roll for entanglement?
Yes, please. I was about to say.
There we go. 6.
On core heat. So show of force. A faction with whom you have negative status makes a play against your holdings. Oh, interesting.
Oh. Honestly, one of the best entanglements.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. So I don't.
We have a holding because so maybe getting out of myself, but I really wanted a score that like really tangled with brought back the land deed, the title, and that's the only claim we have, noble privileges.
Yep.
Is it time for Omid and his gang to make a comeback?
Maybe it's Omid and his gang, or the other option is, and this is a slightly more abstract play, but House Ankayat are still hunting Salman. And Salman was being shown like this whole bureaucratic thing. So we'll see. We can talk about it between sessions, but I think either Omid coming after you physically for the deed makes sense, or it's actually House Ankayat who go like.
Omid's probably gonna
it
come
could
into
be
it at
both.
some point anyway, because I need information from him as part of my personal clock.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I think.
But I'm just saying, House Ankayat seem exactly like the kind of people who might be like, I will just use this one dude who seems to hate these people in order to get you in trouble.
Yeah, I also realized that you had -1 status with the lock porters for some reason, which I think is now cancelled out. They slightly disliked you. I think this came up in character creation, and I don't think they dislike you anymore because, again, all things considered, you interfered in a Skovlan festival. Basically just for the better, right? You showed up, you were like, your cook sucks ass, you kicked his ass, and then they tasted the food and were like, yeah, wow, this guy's food did suck ass, thank you. So.
Yeah, excellent. Amazing. Yeah.
What a sequence of events.
Yeah. I'm going to start a long-term project to add Gunnar to our school also. I feel like he would make a much better addition than Jacob.
Probably. So
great.
All things considered, it sort of worked out. We will talk about whether House Ankayat or Omid makes for a more interesting problem for next session.
Yeah.
The doors to the House of Endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Soap, Soumithri, called Tree, and Emma. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune. where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
On the next Desperate Attune.
So I've been pursuing a lady, and well, it turns out this fellow Salman, he is my romantic rival, you see, and so it's very good that you have been involved with this fellow, as the lady is looking for him, and I would much rather she didn't find him. He says, and he smiles and winks.
So in such a matter as this, you know that I am 100% on your side, okay? Fuck this Salman person, whoever he may be, just fuck him. I spit on his face, I will kick him if I ever see him. Not that I have seen him, I don't know who he is. I mean, like, it's just, there's many people like Salman, but all of them I will punch in the face if I ever see, so that you are not thwarted in the course of your love. By the way, who is this person that you're courting?
Well, you know.
Oh, yes, I remember now. Yes. Oh.
Yes. Yes. Let's not openly say her name for respect of the lady. Let's not try to bring any scandal about